Would a Dunfermline resident from the 1940s and 50s, stepping off a train at the lower station, recognise the town and be able to find his way around? Of course, the answer is yes, but many things have changed. Woodmill High School is the smallest, currently some 950 pupils of Dunfermline's high schools. It experienced significant expansion to its eastern boundaries. Much of the development comprised the Abbeyview and Tooke estates. The Abbeyview scheme started in the late 1940s and building work ran on for another 2 decades. Attitudes towards housing schemes have undergone a radical rethink since the vast estates that characterised post-war Britain. The large blocks of flats were selected for demolition and more individual housing has started to be built. And other games in the playground, perhaps getting a scalp for the teacher for some minor misdeed. The Queen's wedding dress was woven at winter tours in the Canmore factory. Famous the world over for the quality of its work, winter tours used silk that had come from Chinese silkworms at Lillingstone Castle. Subsequently used by Thompson's World of Furniture, the buildings await the wrecking crews and developers to move in before it becomes a Tesco superstore. The Cottage Hospital in Reed Street and the original West Fife Hospital on the corners of Reed, New Row and Netherton Broad Streets outgrew those sites as they progressively expanded, the last change being in 1955. Royal visits have included King George VI plus the then Princess Elizabeth in 1948 to open the Dunlop factory. There was much excitement in the town, including full press and TV coverage when Prince Charles came in 1978 for the celebrations of the 650th anniversary of the death of King Robert the Bruce. With full pomp and ceremony, the Prince attended a service in Dunfermline Abbey. If you went to primary school in Dunfermline, you will have fond memories of the annual gala parade and celebrations. This part of the parade is passing the building used by A.T. Mays, the travel agents, and now plays host to Cash Generator. Former Provost Les Wood, playing clarinet, leads the jazz band. And is followed down the high street by the huge numbers in the Alex Walker accordion band.
66.
Aye, because
started the
we were
building.
always jealous of guys like Manny and that, because they got to play in St Margaret's. We weren't even allowed in.
No,
We were
it's
too young.
Too young to get in.
And the only other place was the KB, the Cinema Ballroom, and it was proper dancing.
That's right, man.
Because my sisters and that used to go there, you know. And it was, you know.
Well, I remember it was the cinema was the Red Hawks, eh?
Red
and the
Hawks.
Falcons.
That was later, eh? I mean,
they had the regular gig.
they had
in
the
there,
regular
but,
gig, aye,
you
the
know,
Red Hawks. The Red Hawks were great actually at the time. Yeah.
a $50 to get in.
That's right.
But if there was a star on, like Jet Harris or,
Aye.
the Tremolos or something, it was £3.
That's right. Damned expensive.
I remember Cecil Hunter was the manager, and he was famous for that time when these young boys called the Beatles offered to play there for 50 quid, and he turned them down. Well, it was quite right, because nobody knew who they were anyway.
That's probably true.
So 50 quid was a lot of money, but do you think...
It'd have been good on his resume.
if you got the Beatles for 15 nick,
that'd have been
a good one.
I remember when I was a little girl going to school, we had the co-op. the huge co-op in Dunfermline. It was the head office as well, I think, if I remember rightly. And it sold everything. You got everything in there, anything you wanted in every department that there was. We went, you always got your school shoes, you got your blazer in this department, your school shoes in that department, your clothes dryer was up on the 5th floor or something, you know, where they had the well, it wouldn't have been dishwashers in those days, but no, it was, that we went there for everything. And then it shut down, and that was really the beginning of the end for a while, wasn't it? It turned into a bit of a... So it was fantastic for shopping from the point of view, obviously, from my mum, that you could get that. So it's kind of went through a massive change because we kind of lost all that, and we ended up down to a bit of the bare bones as far as the town centre was concerned. And it's really nice now to see the regeneration that's going on with the new shopping centre in Debenhams, especially because I don't do a lot of shopping personally. I tend to, I don't know, I can't be bothered with it, to be honest with you. I do a lot online, which is probably the new generation coming through, you know. You get Tesco's deliveries, you sit on your computer and do it at home. But if I do, I want to go somewhere where I know that all the shops are, that they can supply whatever it is I'm looking for. So I always used to go away to Stirling or Edinburgh or Glasgow. But now actually, I can just about go up into Dunfermline and get what I need. So it really is starting to put itself back on the map. And you know, there's been a lot of regeneration up there, even with the land that's up there, and it's looking much more attractive than it used to.
The co-op dominated this part of the town, with the single shop gaining access to the department store across the adjoining walkway over Randolph Street. From the 1980s, the co-op developments were systematically knocked down, and by the mid-noughties, all traces of the stores in this part of town were lost.